Hi, welcome to the other 167. For a short time in meditation, I had taken a topic: save the situation. Save the situation. We find sometimes in families or business or groups or churches, when there's a problem, nobody comes forward to solve the problem, to save the situation. People become very quiet, do not come forward. There's an interesting story in the Old Testament, how a woman saved the situation. The story of Abigail. We find this in 1 Samuel chapter 25. David and his men were fleeing away from King Saul, who was after the life of David for no reason. Around the region of Carmel they were. In Carmel there was a rich household, Nabal and his wife Abigail. Bible tells about the family in verse 3. His name was Nabal and his wife's name was Abigail. She was an intelligent and beautiful woman, but her husband was surly and mean in his dealings. He was a Calebite. Now, David was low on supplies. He sends a few young men to Nabal for help, but he was so arrogant that he sends them, insulted them, sends them back. And David's men tell this. David was angry now. He wanted to come against Nabal. And how she saved the situation? There are 3 points. 1. Abigail was proactive. Abigail was proactive. In the servant of the household of Abigail comes and tells her, verse 14. One of the servants told Abigail, Nabal's wife, David sent messengers from the wilderness to give our master his greetings, but he hurled insults at them. Yet these men were very good to us. Was he saying that David's men were good to us? How they helped? They did not mistreat us. And the whole time we were in the fields near them, nothing was missing. In fact, in verse 16, night and day there were a wall around us. Whole time we were herding our sheep near them. Now, how David and his men helped? The servant was telling Abigail. Verse 17, now think it over and see what he can do, because disaster is hanging over our master and his whole household. How she immediately acted quickly, we find in 17, 18. She set out immediately to meet David and his men with a lot of provision on a donkey. So she acted immediately without consulting Nabal. To avoid a disaster, she goes towards David with all this provision. Point number 2. Abigail acted with wisdom, courage and humility. We find when she found, Abigail saw David, verse 23. She quickly got off her donkey and bowed down before David. With her face to the ground, she fell at his feet and said, Pardon your servant, my lord, and let me speak to you. Hear what your servant has to say. She was courageous. She went alone. She was humble enough to fall at his feet, ask for pardon, and she was wise enough to bring a solution, and she succeeds in it. And here we find David accepts the gifts. She goes back. Point number 3. Abigail earns reverence. 10 days from that incident, Lord took the life of Nabal, and David comes to know of this and asks for the hand of Abigail, and she becomes the future queen of Israel. She earns the reverence of David. She saw how she was so humble, so intelligently she intervened and averted a disaster. And so she earned the reverence of David. So 3 points I wanted to bring out: life, the act of Abigail, how she saved the situation. 1. Abigail was proactive. She did not wait. She did not tarry. She set out immediately on the donkey with a lot of provision. They were wealthy people. She knew that David had help. He was a righteous man. He wanted help. And point number 2, Abigail acted with wisdom, courage, and humility. She was wise enough, and she acted with courage. And she was humble enough to fall at his feet, ask for the pardon. Point number 3, Abigail earned the reverence of David. She earned the reverence. How she became the queen. God will lift us up. There are 3 points I want to bring out. Let's be people who are proactive, humble enough and wise enough to bring about a solution, to save a situation. To save a situation, let's act wisely and God will lift us up. We'll get the respect of others and God will honor. And how God honored Abigail by lifting her up because she acted wisely, averted a situation. May God help us to be people who will act wisely and bring about a solution and save the situation. There is a song that comes to my mind, humble thyself in the sight of the Lord and He will lift you up. He will lift you up. Humble thyself in the sight of the Lord. Humble thyself in the sight of the Lord. And He shall lift you up higher and higher, and He shall lift you up. Thank you. Thank you.